Hi there everyone, it's Lydia here with you today, sharing a video tutorial using the beautiful Holiday Wishes stamp set and also the Winter Cardinal with a tiny bit of Poinsettia and Pine. So I'll be showing you this card today. I'm going to be heat embossing my sentiment from Holiday Wishes stamp set. So I've added a bit of anti-static powder to a die cut piece that I had, and I'm going to be using this sentiment here. It's one of the larger ones from the set. There are so many to choose from, and I just thought that this worked well on the panel that I had in mind. So I've attached my stamp to my ink block, and I'm using a embossing ink to ink this up. There's many types out there that you could use. You could even use a pigment ink if you do not own a embossing ink pad. So I've inked it up, I've pressed it down. I have a piece of scratch paper behind me to catch the embossing powder that doesn't go on my project, so I can pop that back into the container so there's no waste. If you have a few spots, just take a paintbrush and remove those before you do heat emboss it, otherwise you may have a little spots where you don't want them. So I'm embossed that up, and then I'm going to stamp the two bottom furs from the Poinsettia and Pine kit. Stamp set, sorry, and I'm using Forest Glades for the larger one. And I've stamped this 5 times at the bottom of my panel. I like to work in odds, I think it works better. And then I'm stamping 3 of the smaller fur with the evergreen ink. I've then added the first layer from the Winter Cardinal to my Misty, and I've inked this up using the Rouge ink, and I've just placed that down. For the second layer I will be using Crimson. I love the deep red of this one, so I'll be adding that one on top. I will then use the third layer of the Cardinal, and I'll be using some velvet ink to add the colour to this layer. So for the fourth layer I've added it a little bit differently. I'm going to be using some dark chocolate for the feathery bits of the bird, and then the jet black for the face. So I've added 2 different colours to the same stamp, but I'm just going to be stamping this once down onto my project. It's at this time I decided that the brown didn't quite work, so I've added grapevine on top of just the feathery bit and added this on top. I'm going to add the legs now, so I'm not attaching these to the bird because when I die cut them they will be separate. I've done it with caramel toffee, and then I'm just adding a little bit of paper bag to the bottom of the feet. I'm going to remove some of the ink using a sponge, and then I have like a blended feet effect. I then wanted to add some orangey bit to his beak, so I've added the second layer back on top of the bird image where I wanted it, add some caramel toffee, and then I'm going to remove the ink where I do not want it, so away from the beak, and then I'm going to stamp this down, and there it is finished. I'm now going to die cut the images, so I've taken the coordinating die set and I've placed these around the images. This die cuts right up to the edge of the images, so you won't have a black border if you do line them up perfectly. So I didn't in theory need to stamp the feet. I could have just cut them out of an orange piece of card and they would have worked perfectly well. So here they are, and they do cut really, really well. I love how they look, and I love the image without the white bits around the outside. I'm then going to take a piece of the wood grain card, the brown wood grain card from Altenew, and the twig from the Cardinal set, and I'm going to cut this out. So I haven't stamped it, I've just used a wood type effect card, and this will give a really great image and texture to the card, the finished card at the end. It is a bit fiddly to remove, so be careful and you will get a really great image. So for my background I've added a piece of the white wood grained card to the back, and then I'm going to place my images onto my card. I've added my sentiment panel on with some foam tape, and this lifts it up really well, so it makes it more of a focal point than just laying it down flat. I'm adding the bird again with foam tape. I've added a double layer to his back end and only a single layer to the front, as that was popped up already on the sentiment panel. For the twig I've just added it with a little bit of glossy accents. Any wet glue that you have would work really well for this. And then I'm adding the feet again with some glossy accents. I've added it right up to the tippy tops of his legs, and I'm going to place this under his body and then press the body down so they stick. They don't quite match up to the twig, but they match up to the birds, so I'm okay with that. To finish off, I've added a little enamel accents to his eye, and I really think this finishes it off well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and it's inspired you to get some stamps out and get inky. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.